substantial for them amount of cash had gone missing, and when confronted by her mother, the daughter denied any knowledge of it. So deciding that it was time for tough love, she took her daughter to the police station, opened a case, and had her arrested. Later that evening, the mother discovered that instead of hiding the money in the inside pocket of the coat which she was hanging in her wardrobe, she had inserted the envelope containing the cash into a coat sleeve. In other words, there was no theft. She immediately returned to the police station, explained to them what had happened, made a withdrawal statement, and was told her daughter would be released imminently, but that because the case docket was already with the detectives, only they could release her, not the police in the charge office. Enter the rotten apple of a detective. Upon hearing that a withdrawal statement had been made, he booked the suspect out of the cells and took her to his office, where he told her that he could make the case go away if she did something nice for him in return. He then talked her into banging him, following which he had released her from custody. Only upon returning home and hearing her mother's profuse apology did the daughter realize what had happened. Cue the assault complaint, the case docket of which ended with me. Long story short, we summarily arrested the detective, a seasoned veteran of more than 15 years service, recovered the used rubber in his office, and he was convicted. I don't remember the exact sentence, but it was in excess of 10 years. This is one of the most disgusting abuses of power. Just straight up taking advantage of another human being, using your rank and coercion as an excuse, I guess? Absolutely awful. I think it's pretty undeniable that what the cop did constitutes as assault, and I'm glad it was treated as such. Story 16. In my shortish time in law enforcement, I never arrested another cop, although I did arrest correction officers, both for domestic violence-related incidents. But I did have several officers I knew well who arrested officers from our agency, and even worked with a couple of guys who ended up getting arrested. I only knew of one guy catching flack for arresting a fellow officer. The officer arrested was extremely well-liked, and the offense was pretty iffy. The kind of thing you wouldn't typically arrest a random person for. However, it came out later it was just the tip of the iceberg. Most cops I discussed these matters with really have no issue with you if you arrest another cop for legitimate reasons. Professional courtesy is definitely a thing. An officer will likely get the benefit of the doubt. If you commit a borderline act, an officer is likely to turn their head the other way. It's called officer discretion, and most officers will do the same for nurses, teachers, other first responders, or someone who is just kind. But if you have legitimately screwed up, you're most likely going to jail. Story 17. They ran what they called integrity tests on suspected officers, from other officers letting them know, breaking the law and abusing the badge. In one such case, they put an undercover officer, he was a black officer, in a nice car from impound, had him drive normal down a highway the suspected cop was patrolling.